Hey guys, that wood guy here. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, I appreciate you stopping in. This weekend's video, we're going to make some custom jewelry boxes, and I hope to keep you guys entertained through the whole process. I chose to use the African paddock again due to its color, and I love the contrast of it with curly maple. I also had this wood left over from years ago, a project in mind that I never executed, and now it was time to use this stuff for some smaller projects. And I wish the wood actually stayed this red like you see, but it actually turns like a walnutty brown. But the green in it is absolutely remarkable, and you even see it when it turns that walnutty brown. It's hard to believe that it actually turns like that when it's so red like this, but it actually does. So running it through the planer, getting my boards prepped to be able to cut my lengths for the top, bottom, and sides, you just kind of lose yourself staring at pieces and thinking of what I can make in the future with it. So that was the first time I used the table saw since my incident with the contractor's table saw. And if you guys don't know about that, I did have a live stream where I did explain that a little more. You could dig through my videos and look at it if you were interested in it, but if not, let's continue on to the project here where I'm cutting my lengths for the sides and top and bottom. You see me here, I'm tracing out a circle around these corners. I'm adding a little more of a decorative touch around the edges rather than just a straight 90-degree corner. I took the time and traced them all out, and you guys will see me use the domino joiner next for a little more of a traditional method for fastening the tops to the bottoms and the sides. And I say traditional because there is no screws showing and no screws used to fasten this box together. Putting the table saw on 45 to kiss off some of the edge to make that contour for the sander. It just kind of relieves some of that chunk of the material out of the way to make life easier for me to be able to contour this with the sander, as you'll see. And you know, every side needs to be custom fit, of course, but it's custom woodworking. I was ready to set up the router to make a notch around the perimeter of the top and bottom to inlay a strip of wood to add a nice accent touch, but it really turned into more of a headache than more of a success than anything, even though I did have success in the long run. And I also thought of another way of doing this in the future to make it way more easy. Clearly I can't fill a steam box without making a mess. So warming up the water to 180 degrees, starting with some curly maple strips, I was on my way to my first failed attempt. I just couldn't get these bands to bend around this corner, and it was more of a tight curve than I think the thickness of the band could handle. So I went to ash, which seemed to work better, and then eventually I had to end up going to making the strips half thickness rather than the full thickness to carry that flush and that notch, just to make this band bend around the corner like I wanted. So after finally being successful with that stage, I let them dry overnight, clamped into the tops and bottoms, and now that curvature was already formed so that then I could clamp these things and glue them permanently. I had to fit the length, and then I had to struggle with clamps, and I just couldn't get a way to clamp these things. Finally I did, and it seemed to work. But again, these strips were not full thickness around the notch. Overall, I was pretty happy with the results. I ended up having to then finish doing all my sides and final fit that curvature. I was able to put my notch in for the backs of these boxes. I was finally on to attaching these runners for the drawers. And I used paddock to match, and I also had to elongate the hole, as you see there, so that the sides could expand and contract over seasonal movement without causing issues with the runners that are cross-grained. Everything all attached. It was on to finally gluing the sides to the top and bottom permanently. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you guys listening to me babble here and there, and make sure you drop down in the comments if you like the commentary in the video, or if you'd rather just see me just work without no talking. But I figured I'd do this just to explain things a little more rather than keep you guys wondering. And now I had all the tops and bottoms attached all permanently, rocking a nice hairdo. I was on to finally making my drawers. So I made the drawer sides about 3/8 thick. I was able to resaw my paddock to get double the yield. And it made a perfect drawer side, I felt, thickness. Working on the fronts of the drawers, some of that curly maple. I had to dado everything to fit. I don't show everything in the process, guys, because I feel like the video would just be so long, and I'd like to keep this video more entertaining to anybody who's even experienced, and mostly, the people who are even new, maybe visiting. That's where I want to kind of stress that you don't need nice tools to create nice work. And I know, my shop looks like it has all just nice tools, and that's why this work is all, coming out so nice. But there's a lot more behind it than, just a nice name tag on a pretty fancy piece of equipment, and, then executing nice work. It does take a little bit of craftsmanship. If you guys didn't see my shop tour video, make sure you go check that video out. I did post it on here, and I would greatly appreciate if you guys have any questions to go over and drop that in the comments, anything on the shop. I was on to finally gluing these drawers all together. All my pieces were dadoed and grooved, ready for that assembly. And I was on for making these little grids for the jewelry divider, in which I started out with this pattern here, but then I got a recommendation from that wood girl to break it up even more and add another one in the middle, which ended up being a really nice addition. Having all the drawers glued, they were finally done. And you guys will see here, this was the third divider that I put in the middle of the little grids. And I made another little sliding tray for more storage. Set up the milling machine to drill some little peg holes and inlay a nice peg for a nice contrast on the drawer sides. Now that I finally got them drilled, I was able to drive the pegs in there. And boy, they added a beautiful decorative touch. I had to sand everything down, the drawers, case sides of the boxes, everything needed to get sanded, and that just takes a long time if you guys know about sanding